privileged to be joined by a very seasoned artist who has been working in this industry for many, many years. And she is set to wow us even more. And I think also tickle the funny bone a little bit in Sanjay Leela Bhansali's Heera Mandi, The Diamond Bazaar, which is streaming on Netflix from 1st of May. Jayati Bhatia, ma'am, a warm welcome to you. And thank you so much for joining us on Filme Shilmy.
Namaste, namaste, Anush. Thank you so much for having me here. And it was indeed a pleasure to talk about Heera Mandi now, because now it's just going to stream from the 1st of May, and we're all very excited.
Absolutely. Well, look, Jyoti ma'am, I mean, look, last year it was quite lovely to see you in Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani, which kind of felt to me a bit of an extension of your Mataji character from Sasural Simar Ka, believe it or not. But I think, obviously, Heeramandi, your role is completely opposite. I mean, you are someone who's loyal, who is surrounded by this sort of courtesan world at the same time, but yet also representing the voice of the Aam Janta at that time.
Yes.
Very comic as well, as I said. So for you to really step into this magnificent world, how did you prepare yourself as an artist?
Uh, to give you a little sneak peek, I was it's a huge cast. There are many primary characters, and there are also many other characters in it. So I was the last one to be cast in the show, absolutely last. And I think they had to cast me because they wanted to start the shooting, and everybody's date was getting messed up. But they had a shoot um, uh, scheduled at the end of June, 2022, and I was. Yes, I was absolutely. Actually the last one to be cast, because they were looking for Satwa and Patto. These are the two characters that they are there in the show. And what I was told by Mr. Bansali was that they are like ageless. You could have found them any time in Heera Mandi, any time of the history of Heera Mandi, or the present, the past. They are ageless, and they are all these people who are, they are courtesans. They are the queens, and these are the two people, Sattu and Pattu, who never found a patron. So in a way, they are failed courtesans. They have had the full training. They have had all the etiquette training, the singing, the dancing, everything. But उनको कोई buyer नहीं मिला, they never got anybody who would patron them. They never found a patron. So in a way, so as years went by, maybe the first year, the second year, the third year, they had hopes. But as the years went by, their hopes were dashed, and they were relegated to the kitchen and looking after the person who was there on the gaddi, which is right now played by Manisha Koirala ji, Mallikajaan. So they must have looked after the person who was before them, and before them, and maybe before them, and maybe after. So what happens is that they are ageless people, and they have this. Finally, there are two characters who are somehow bitter, angry. But Satto is a different character, but I will talk about mine. Patto is somebody who has not accepted the fact that that she has been pushed to the corner and pushed to the kitchen. She would find, because these are the women who have always been part of the Heera Mandi politics. You see, the politics between the courtesans, between different mahals, and they know their secrets. They have been a part of those secrets. They have been given the job to take out the work, or the shadowy work, or for these courtesans, and they've done all that. So, but so Patto knows everybody's secrets, and Patto knows everybody's nubs, in a way. So she has not cowed down or bowed down. She finds ways, as you have said, that she has a funny bone in her. And there is, but in that funny bone, in sarcastically, she tries to maneuver people by saying something as if accidentally, or speaks out accidentally, which plays on their mind, and she sees what kind of reaction will it come, how will the characters react to the way she's told them a little bit, or pushed the knife a little bit, or said something which is absolutely tactless. She says tactless things, and that in somehow, rolls the story further on the narrative. And also, she's like I said, that she's not a person who keeps quiet. She will say, things, mindless things, but she's also somebody who feels a lot, she's very sensitive. Because she is sensitive, that is why she's not um, accepted her fate.
Right, absolutely. And such a beautiful description there. And I think also when it comes to the character of Satto and Patto, right? I feel like it's wonderful because um, it reminds me of Shakespeare के जो plays होते हैं. You always have the comical sort of characters. जो actually comical दिखते हैं, they look like
हाँ,
buffoons, fools, but actually
हाँ.
the smartest ones. They're the ones who are very all-knowing about what is happening and what is yet to happen in the story as well. You are someone who has had a vast experience on stage and in theater as well. And I think also Bhansali has this tendency where it does get quite theatrical, the way he presents his stories, the way he presents the characters. तो आपके लिए वो जो एक acting experience, do you think there was somewhere down the line where you were referencing to your experiences on theater as well, when presenting this character?
It always helps because, like you said, that it reminded they are the Sattu and Pattu are the voice of the Aam Janta, what the Aam Janta or the people in Heera Mandi feel. So I felt a lot like the chorus in Greek plays. Like the chorus always are the people who are they are the voices of the Aam Janta. They speak what the audience is feeling, or the people, or the praja, or the they what they feel like. So in a way, what the Greek in my theatre training days, I'm a student of Mr. Ibrahim Al-Qazi, Padma Vibhushan Mr. Ibrahim Al-Qazi. And for my theatre training days, I would take out some characters. I would think of some characters which I've already done. Like there are a lot of scenes in the film which reminded me so much of House of Bernarda Alba, where these their women are there, and their own politics, their own insecurities, their vulnerabilities, and the visual picture that they create. A little dark, little beautiful light falling on their faces, and but that is also Mr. Bansali's magic. So I would sometimes go and tell him that, sir, this reminds me of gives me the feeling of this scene or this play or that music, and he would always laugh and say, yes, yes, very much. And आप अपने theatre experience यहाँ पर लेकर आती हैं, which is wonderful because it helps you color your character. It helps you make it substantial, and it makes a lot of background stories. It always helps to do every scene because you see the story is always flowing, and you're there in the middle somewhere. So you have to create your backstory in order to be at the present, what is happening right at the present, because what has happened in the past.
I think when it comes to the dialect as well, when it comes to the sort of command of the language that you're speaking, how much refinery did you have to go through? It must have been quite a process, I'm sure, for you to just, sort of rehash and make sure you get the sort of nuances very correct, right, in the dialogues that you were speaking.
I would say, yes, we had a teacher on set, Sunita ji, who would help us with the Punjabi accents and exactly how to say the words. Because sometimes in Delhi, when we speak Punjabi, it is a Delhi Punjabi.
Yeah.
And so some words here they're more like Hindi, but she wanted us to speak very, very very much Punjabi, but understood Punjabi, not like it would fly off your head, over your head, that what is she speaking. Also, Mr. Bansali has got extremely good ear, that what sounds right. So
Mm.
he would give us he would say, no, I want a word which sounds like this. No, I want a word which I want a line which sounds like this, which creates this kind of an image in front of you. So he would give us these beautiful, lovely little nuggets of information or help, which would create this kind of a world, or whatever I'm speaking, the effect that I want to make on the character, especially Mallikajaan, when I'm talking to her, because we are there with her to help her out for her day. So I think he has got a beautiful ear. He knows the kind of words that he wants, or the kind of language, different languages, but but Patto will speak like this, that Patto will use words like this. So that is definitely a great help from Mr. Bhansali.
Yeah, definitely. Always a magnum opus experience. But I think whenever it comes to Bhansali, and I've noticed this, that I think the opulence and the grandeur sort of nature of the sets and the
Mhm.
costumes often basically subsides the darkness, the dark essence of the story. In fact, a lot of the times when Heeramandi was announced, and I think when the teaser was revealed, there was a lot of skepticism as well from a lot of people where they were wondering that, but at the end of the day, a lot of women, especially back then, were trafficked, right, to into becoming courtesans. It wasn't a natural life choice, right? I mean, and I'm sure there's probably references of that in the series as well.
Yes,
um
yes, yes, they are. Especially with Sattu and Pattu, yes, because in the beginning, I think it was an idea that they will be twins. But later, they must have realized, later, it was decided that they were sold here at the same time, at the same age. So they must be three when they were sold here and they grew up together.
hmm.
And their fortunes intertwined, luck intertwined, and they both never got sold. And so they are together right now as as friend, philosopher, guides, and people, and somebody to cry on the shoulder every day.
Huh, exactly. So, to what extent would you say, does Heeramandi not glorify or romanticize the idea of, sort of courtesans in that sense? Because obviously it's a very difficult life, and women have suffered so greatly in our history because of that. So, to what extent do you think the series perhaps addresses what actually happened historically through the medium of fictional entertainment?
That's the most beautiful part because, yes, you have to show opulence. Yes, you have to show that beautiful, colorful life of the courtesan when she's dancing and when she's performing and when she is with people or the nobles or the patrons that they are there with, their interpersonal rivalries. But the most beautiful part about Heera Mandi is that Mr. Bhansali has not shied away from showing the darker sides of the courtesan's life, the vulnerability, the miseries, the sometimes the dichotomy, sometimes the hurts, the failures, and the politics uh, of Heera Mandi, of Lahore, Heera Mandi of that time, of a courtesan's life. It is all there. That is why it is such a beautiful show, because it brings out the opulence combined with the darkness of the life of a courtesan. And that is what pushes them towards taking up a bigger role or a bigger purpose, as now you've seen the trailer.
Hmm. And I think when it comes to the dancing as well, I mean, it was really beautiful to see Sakalban. I love the fact that it's a very traditional, it's a very ancient song in that sense, but yet the way he's presented it in such a modern way, it was so beautiful. In a sense, modern in a sense where it's got his own sort of take on it, and the way he's
Mm.
recomposed the song. The choreography too was stunning. I believe it's Kathak, right? That they
Yes,
like a Kathak.
definitely.
It's a Kathak piece. But
Yes, yes.
I believe you have trained in Odissi dance, right?
Yes, I have. For
So
17 years.
absolutely. So when you have that understanding of the Hindustani classical dance, how did that also impact you as an artist? When you were either observing, or I don't know if you were part of any of the dance sequences, how did that impact you?
The biggest duk, or the biggest, what do you call, heartburn
In sports, you mean?
during Heera Mandi was that, in spite of being a dancer, I could not become a part of any of the dance except for in the end, but that is not a dance. Uh, I could not become or one of the performers, and it so happened that I had gone for a play during that time when they were shooting Sakalban.
Hmm.
And Mr. Bansali really, really wanted Sattu and Pattu to be part of like the six dancers. The four of them are performing. He wanted us to be there. He, but because I was had gone for a play, and because play has certain dates and you cannot change them, and and those dates were decided 6 months back. It fell right in the middle of my shoot with Sakalban song. So I was not a part of it on the first day of the shoot. So because I was not part of the first day of the shoot, so although he made Sattu stand, but then he said, "Oh no, it is. I have to balance it." So then the second day when I came and joined the shoot, and everybody was wearing this beautiful hues of yellow for the Basant song,
Mm.
Sakalban. It I was mesmerized. I said, "Oh my God, this is what you've been witnessing the whole day yesterday. Oh, I missed out." And I thought that he will make me dance, but the choreography of that side was already done, and now he could not include us. So that is why I was sitting there and watching and constantly thinking, oh, why did this happen to me? Why was I mean, to be a dancer, not being a part of the dance of song, to be an actor, dancer, not to be a part of a dance acting part in Mr. Sanjay Leela Bhansali's production, which is known for its, dance choreography and dance songs and everything. And so, yes, it was very, very difficult to sit there and watch everybody do a beautiful job. But I did give my expert comments. I could not stop myself. I became Jayati became Patto actually sitting there because she could not take. So I would give my tidbits, and Chandeep, I think, and but the beautiful part is that the beautiful part was that every suggestion was taken.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
yes. That is the beautiful part. That is, I would say, I am honored that that I said some things and it made an impact, and some suggestions were taken. Some were not, absolutely not, because of course it is their vision and it's Kruti and Sir and the people who are there on screen dancing. You cannot meddle too much, but I could not stop myself.
Rightly so. Well, rightly so. If you know the skills, it's obviously really good to express. Gyan baatna chahiye, as they say.
बिल्कुल
Just
बिल्कुल लेकिन मेरे छोटे से ज्ञान में they are much more
of
because I
course.
understand dance but I may not understand camera choreography what looks beautiful or and how it should be shot that I did not bother with, sorry. I do not know. I better not meddle.
No, me absolutely no. I completely agree with you there. But Jyoti ma'am, I think let's talk a bit more largely about your career because I think it's so great to see you do a Bhansali series. But I think to get or to reach this stage, it's obviously been many years of absolute dedication, passion, and sincerity towards the craft. My early memory of you was actually in Jassi Jassi Koi Nahi. I absolutely
Mm,
loved your character in that so much. It was such
India.
a beautiful, beautiful role. And I think even on television, like you've done roles, even which were like sort of like Kasauti Zindagi Ke type sort of series, but you were never a stereotypical vamp or a sass until obviously Mataji came along in your life. It's as well Simrka. So for you sort of sustaining yourself, how difficult has it been and how important was it for you to remain disciplined in your decisions of not to do roles which perhaps do a disservice to your craft in the caliber in the name of commercialism?
um Two things. One, my training in dance and in my theater that made me disciplined because I started dancing, started learning dancing from the age of 7, and so that in a way disciplined my mind. And then Mr. Alkazi is a theater, a living theater, where I trained for 4 years for theater. I It completely changed my perspective, and I knew that in order to do a good job, two things are very important. One is that you should have to be disciplined, and the second, you have to be a team person. You cannot, yes, you have to do the scene right, you have to really shine in every scene yourself, but if the scene is not working or the play is not working or the show is not working, then nothing is working.
True.
So that is very important. So I think that is why people kept giving. And also I'm thankful to the people who are sitting there deciding on who to on the roles that people get, or to be cast. Uh, I am very thankful to those people because they saw the versatility in me, and I tried to choose parts which were dissimilar, because there are only few characters that they are there on television or in any other. So you have to choose parts which you have not done earlier. I
Hmm.
also did Mataji after so many years because she was not. She started from a certain mindset, and the
Hmm.
beauty was that as the show went by, in 7 years, she became a much more changed person, and her understanding of the world became vaster, and she became today's. She had traditional values, but she was orthodox. But she changed, not a modern woman, definitely not, because she would not lose her roots or traditions. But she started accepting many things which were there, good good things which were there in today's world, in the present times. So
Hmm.
I also did Sasural Sivarka season 2, where I played Mataji's twin, Badima, where because they wanted the same face of the let's have a twin. So whereas while I was doing Mataji, I had no idea of that there was a twin sister.
Oh,
But such season 2, suddenly I realized that, oh, I have a twin sister. So that also, she was a much more technologically advanced woman. She knew computers. She was looking after business. She would talk to people in their language and everything. But she was much more closed person. So in Mataji, from orthodox, she became a much more open person. But in Badima, from a closed person who would never show her emotion, and she had a lot of darker sides. Her journey was to open up, to make her heart shine, to get the to become more accommodating with people,
hmm.
and much more loving. The love that she had in her heart, she would always keep it to herself because she was so hurt in her earlier life, her backstory. And but, but as the show went by, she became much more accommodating, more loving, much more open. So you have to uh, take characters or choose characters which have a journey, because you see, our Indian television have a certain set of stories,
Hmm.
which and a certain mindset that people come to watch. So, in that, how can you, through your character, change mindsets of people? I've had people coming, younger girls coming to me and saying that, and they would call me Mataji only. Mataji, aapko pata hai, that I chose to do hotel management. I chose to do this. Chose to do that because your character let your granddaughter do it. So my grandmother stood by me, stood up for me. She said, "Why can't she do it? Why can't she go out and do her what she wants to do?
Hmm.
We are there. We have given a good upbringing. We am sure that she is going to conduct herself well and do a good job of it." So if you can make little small changes, or progress in people's life through your characters, what more blessing can you? It's a blessing.
Rightly said, very rightly said. And also, I think the recognition that uh, actors on television get is very personal, because you're up like लोगों के घरों में टेलीकास्ट कर रहे हो, है ना? तो एक अलग सा एक पहचान बन जाता है, how do you feel? I mean, obviously chasing fame, I'm sure is never, I mean, for artists at least, perhaps is not the right way to go about pursuing a career in the arts. But how have you dealt with that aspect of recognition over years? Because obviously, like I said, like I recognize you from doing Jasi Koi Nahi back in the day, to then obviously now doing a Heera Mandi. Has fame ever bothered you? Have you ever been concerned कि अरे यार काश ये मिलता या काश वो मिलता नहीं मुझे वहां तक जाना है, like ambition जो कहते हैं? Have you ever been bothered by it?
Not much. It's been a fleeting thought. It's been a fleeting thought. Like you would see your contemporaries sometimes, and you would say, "Ari, they are the ones, and I'm just doing a character." But it changed with the time. I think when you ask the universe, it sometimes comes to you. it becomes you. It comes to you. So with I would say with Mataji and with Badima and with the shows which I've done in the last 10 years, I have reached that place where people respect me a lot for what I do, and they show a lot of love to me, and I'm recognized uh, on streets, in places, even abroad, because wherever there is Indian diaspora, they watch Indian shows. And it was wonderful that I'd gone to Paris. I would not think that in France I would be recognized or known, because I had no idea that people watch Indian shows or not. But when I went for a play called Devdas. I
Hmm.
just come back from there. I did shows in Paris, and on the last day of the show, when we were doing the photo op with the audience, a lot of people came and told me, and even our stage manager, she is a French person, French woman. She said, "You know what? You're very popular." I said, "Really? Why do you think I'm not playing either Chandramukhi or Paro? Why should I be popular? I am playing Devdas's mother." So she said, "No, because 60% of the audience knew you. They said, we know her, we have seen her on screen, we have seen her on television, and she's very popular in our homes." And that gives such a solace, that gives such happiness, because that you are a part of people's families. Yes, this is true that film actors have a certain image to maintain,
Hmm.
and there's a certain distance that the audience has from them. But we television actors, the people who have worked in television for a long time, we become part of their family. We just are a part of their family. So they meet us like that. They feel that they know us. So it is never, "Hello, ma'am, how are you?" And they just say, "Hey, Bhaji, you're like this, Jenny, or if you like this, or this character or that character." They just keep, it is immediate recognition, and it is immediate relation that we bond. I remember my mother, she used to watch a lot of television. She would meet some of my co-actresses. "Hey, बड़ा बदतमीज है, या बड़ी बदतमीज है." I said, "Why? What happened, ma? Why are you saying like that?" "अरे, मेरे को नमस्ते तक नहीं किया." I said, "नमस्ते अभी तो कर ही गया, नहीं वैसे नहीं मिला जैसे मिले जा रहा है, कैसे मिलना चाहिए? मैं तो रोज मिलती हूँ इससे." I said, "तुम रोज मिलती हो, वो रोज नहीं मिलते तुमसे."
हाँ,
So
वही.
so this is the idea that people have who watch us at homes, that we are just part of their families.
So beautifully articulated, and I am mesmerized by actors and the sort of processes that they go through. We were just talking about Mataji, and then even if we look at, as I mentioned in my beginning of the conversation,
Yes.
how literally your character of in Rakyo Rani Ki Prem Kahani was literally seemed like a bit of an extension of Mataji to an extent as well, in terms of that mindset that they sort of came from, to you doing a patto. Then if we look at Jesse Jesse Koine, so many other stuff that you've done in
I-
between.
I've also
Um,
done a beautiful show called Dahad, where I play
the hard,
Sonakshi's mother.
exactly,
Yeah. Yes. So
exactly.
uh, that is also, so it was wonderful working with Sonakshi again in Heeramandi.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, it's quite wonderful to see how that Sona Kitna Sona hai sort of a sort of a saying, I guess we can actually apply
Yes.
here. But so when there's so many different ideologies that your characters have. They come from different mindsets. Do you ever feel, as Jayati, ever feel conflicted with those mindsets and ideologies? And how do you always go back to snapping out of those mindsets and the characters that you play? Because I'm sure it must get uh, a bit vulnerable for you mentally and emotionally when you are doing all these different characters from different mindscapes and different shades as well.
I think that's why I love my profession so much. I love it. When I was growing up, in my growing up years, I used to love reading. I still love reading books, and I love reading fiction. So in school, when you used to go to library, you would take books, and if you have Western books, if you have Western novels, fiction especially, you always have a psychiatrist. So who is helping you out, or you're going to talk to them. See, now in the films also nowadays, there's always somebody. So so in my growing up years, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, actually,
Oh,
because I wanted to know different people. I wanted to know their stories. I wanted to know their um, inhibitions, their vulnerabilities. I'm always attracted, and I always want to know people's stories. Even now, if I'm going in an Ola, Uber, or at my shoot, or if there's, I, I never, a- I never ask where you stay, how many people are there in your family. No, it has to be a process. They must open up to you. They must talk to you when they want to talk to you, and when they start talking, it's beautiful. Otherwise, it's all made up. So I
Hmm.
wanted to become a psychiatrist, but because coming from a very limited means in my family, my father said that, because the multinational companies had not come then, and psychiatrists were still Pagloka doctor. So, so my
Hmm.
father said, "What do you want to become? No, no, no. Either you, if you want to take up medical, then you become a gynecologist or a GP, because that's what women do." I said, "No, I want to be a psychiatrist, and I want to be a research student." So that went out of the window, because of course we could not afford it. So, and acting happened to me by sheer chance, because I was being trained in classical dance, and acting never crossed my mind. So I went to do I studied tourism, English literature, and I had to do, because of tourism, I had to do one language.
Hmm.
uh, Everybody said French padho, German padho, but because House of Soviet Science, Culture and Art, then it was Soviet Union at that point of time. Now it is Russian Center. It was close to my dance class.
Hmm.
So because of the convenience of the of travel and my dance class, I joined Russian language. And as luck would have it, the director of Anton Chekhov Drama Studio spotted me in the canteen having noodles and coffee. And the play that he had written was very close to the character that he was seeing. So
Hmm.
I was asked to be a part of that play,
Hmm.
and that is how acting happened. That is how I started getting excited about acting, because I never wanted to become an actor. It never crossed my mind.
Hmm.
So that is how, because of the play which I did, uh, I became actor and started thinking on those lines. And I always feel, so that is why becoming an actor, it was a blessing to me. It happened to me because it was destined to be, because I had to know people's stories and get into their mindsets, would do a lot of background work, understand characters, not just yours, but all the characters that were there in that particular project with me. uh, and yes, I have been conflicted many a times. I was doing a play called Three Sisters, again
Hmm.
by Anta Chekhov, and in my theater training days, and I had I have four sisters in law, and they are very loving, and they're very wonderful. Uh, and because I was not playing either of the three sisters, but I was playing Natasha, the sister-in-law, who comes into the house from a lower privileged background and takes over the house and moves around like as if she owns the place. And she doesn't like these three sisters and all this. So while I was doing the play, I would start seeing all the not the nice things in my sisters-in-law, you know.
Oh.
And so I would say, and I would keep talking to myself that what is happening? What is
Hmm.
happening to me? Why am I behaving this way? I've been wonderful with them and they are too wonderful with me. So why am I seeing this? Why everything that they're saying is making me upset? So yes, I would talk to myself, and then I brought out myself from that. There was a play called A Streetcar Named Desire, as you know, a fabulous play by Tennessee Williams. I
Hmm.
was playing Blanche Dubois in it. And
Hmm.
that was one play which consumed me completely. And I was totally into that world, absolutely into that world. And I I did not want to come out of that character because it was giving me so much of. I wanted to come out of that character because it was troubling me so much. I also wanted to play it every day, all the time, because it was giving me an artistic satisfaction. As I was trying to understand the character, it was making me excited about the character. So
Hmm.
many a times when, again, I would give a diametrical, when I was doing Vindhya, your favorite character from Jassi Jassi Koi Nahi, she had a problem. She was this woman who would give expert comments to everybody about life, but her chink in the armor was that her husband was a photographer, and she had a mistress, and he
Yeah.
was not looking after her. And the mistress comes into this. She was a model. She comes into this office of Jussie, our office, and as a model, and I stop her payment. I stop her check because I want to give her a raw deal. So sometimes these things play on your mind.
Mm.
They do, because, and especially while you're doing the characters, especially in theater, or when you're doing a longer character. Like in Mataji, everybody said, "Why are you doing this character? You are just this age and you're playing a character who's 60. Why are you doing this?" So I also started thinking, yeah, but when I went on the set, they would not give me any makeup which would make me look older. They later gave me those my signature look of those two highways on my on
Yeah,
my
the
head,
great
those white
stands.
patches.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, and I would be nice to people, talking to people, playing Mataji the way I wanted to, the way it was done. But after 3 months, as I would be getting down from the car, the spotter said, "Good morning, Mataji. Namaste, Mataji." The lightman would say, "Namaste, Mataji." So the production persons were, "Mataji, aaj pehla scene ye hai." Assistant would come and say, "Mataji ye hai." People would come and start telling their stories to me, कि "Mataji pata hai." And then they would start fighting with each other, and they would come to me and say, "Mataji ये मुझसे लड़ रहा था और ये आप इसको बताओ कौन गलत है कौन सही है." So in 3-4 months, I started thinking like Mataji. I started behaving like Mataji. I
Mm.
wanted to make the whole Bharatwaj family and everybody there who was there on my set, 70 people on the set, I became Mataji to them.
Oh,
I would feel for them. I would start, uh, I would come back home and says, "अरे यार, उसका तो वो problem हो गया, तो उसको कैसे solve करें, how to sort it out." I would start doing all these things, and I became Mataji. So they made me feel like Mataji by connecting with me, and I just became one. So by the end of it took me some 3 months to get out of Sasral Simarka. When it ended, I would keep dreaming about it for 3 months,
mm.
and it took me a little time. So when I did Sasral Simarka 2, I was playing a character like Badi Ma, and she was a person, like I said, who was closed in her heart. She did not open up. So I also did not open up for 6 months, not even 3 months. They would call me Badi Ma, but I would keep telling myself, no, what I've gone through in Mataji, I don't want to go through in Badi Ma. I don't want to get that hurt, that losing this family of 70 people,
Mm.
of these characters who have come. I didn't want to go through that hurt. But it happened. I became Fatima. I fell in love with people again. I fell in love with the whole unit again.
Mm.
And
But then I
so
think
it
that's what
happened.
matures you, right, as an artist as well, when you go through
Yes.
processes like that. And I'm glad you brought this whole age aspect up about you doing Mataji at such a, sort of a youngish age in that sense, because I think Bansali is brilliant when it comes to casting actresses who, if I may say so, a bit more senior, a bit more
Yes.
experienced. For example,
Yes.
if you look at Smita Jaikar and the Devdas, Hamdul, the
Yes.
Chukesanams, to Supriya Pathak in Ram Leela, obviously in Gangubai, you had, of course, Seema Pawaji, and obviously
Yes.
now you've got you. I think his choice of maternal characters, maternal roles are quite interesting, because I'm sure even to an extent, Patto, there might be sense of maternal instincts in her in the show
Yes,
as
there
well.
is. As you because you've seen the first 2 episodes, you know that we are very close to Shama. And we are very close to that character. So and to Iqbal. So they are, because they had never had a family. They never had children. So these two people become their children, even to a certain extent. Sharmin's character, she's also, we are a little attached to her. We understand, although we have we are upset that we always have this disparity in our mind, that okay, fine, she is not from us, there she is, the daughter of Mallikajaan, but we still feel for her when we realize that she is more vulnerable, she is much more poet, she's a poetess.
Mm,
And she doesn't want to become a courtesan. She's a poetess, but will Malika let her be? So we do feel for her. And yes, like I said, there were these two ageless women. They could be 60, 70, 80, 90, anything.
mm,
So sir told us that if you have graying hair, no need to dye them. Let
mm,
it be. Let them be, because that should be seen.
Hmm.
that that they're aging, they're aged, they have aged gracefully or non gracefully, howsoever. So yes, we were cast also because we were of a certain age.
Sure. But I think that's where I think Bhansali is genius, sort of visionary as a filmmaker, or whatever we want to call it for a better term. That's where it comes into it. Because obviously, I feel like nowadays where male actors who age or reach a certain age, they can still get away with playing more heroic characters. But as soon as an actress hits like the mid 30s or the 40s, it's suddenly a chamaka role, या maternal role, या वो role. Which galat baat nahi hai, by the way. I just want to say on record that it's not bad to play a mother because I think it's a very important role of life generally. But it's more the stereotyping, it's more the categorization of that. Do you think you've had to really fight that? And do you think, in a way, Heeramandi perhaps is a bit of a game changer because it's not only perhaps true to your experience as an artist, but at the same time, it's given you that scope as an artist, that flexibility to really explore yourself without the barricade of age and categorization?
I would say this aging women role or characters that you get is a worldwide thing. We've heard Hollywood actresses also, getting upset about it, that we don't get roles which are closer to our characters. They don't make important characters, but now it is. Yes, there are many characters, which is happening now in India also, especially on the OTT platforms, where you have characters of a certain age, maybe after 40s or something, that they have wonderful characters to play. Similarly, in I would say in Heeramandi, the beautiful part is that there is there are characters of every age. The women of every age which are there in Heeramandi, and everybody has got their own place in the story. So this is the most beautiful part, and uh, women are talking about their insecurities, vulnerabilities of aging. They're also trying to hold on to their youth, as you would say, as others are trying to topple them. And so all those beautiful vulnerabilities of women of all age groups, right from the Shama to Saima to Mallikajaan to to Pattu and Sattu and Faridan and everybody's characters. Everybody is going through a certain amount of journey, and their vulnerabilities as women,
Hmm.
uh, what is happening in their lives, and what are they trying to hold on to or let go, or struggling with. It's a beautiful gamut of emotions that we get to see.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I think.
Also, I would say, while I was dubbing for the English Heeramandi, the Netflix, um, my dubbing director, you would know the term, I've forgotten it, or beetle effect or something, where
Hmm.
women talk with women, or women are talking about women, and men are not. There's a certain term which I've
Ah,
forgotten.
okay.
So she said that the beauty about Hira Mandi is that it is that women are talking about women, women are dealing with women, and a man is, and in many scenes, there's it is nothing to do with men.
Hmm. It's fascinating. It is really fascinating to see that layering and the different strands. And I think, like you said, the whole the age aspect as well, which again we rightfully touched on. But I think on a final note, Jyoti ma'am, from our conversation today, one thing that I have observed about you is that not only do you have experience by your side and a very tremendous talent towards the performing arts, there's a beautiful positivity that you exude. There's a sense of a feel good factor. Like, आप जब एक बोलती हो एक मुस्कान के साथ आप बोलती हो. And I think that is so endearing to see. ये optimism कहाँ से आया है? मुझे ये source जानना है. And how has it helped you throughout your course in life, even during the most difficult times as well?
Inherent to a certain extent, and also genetic. My mother was a very smiling and laughing person, in spite of going through, like every like after leading a certain kind of life and seeing life, and especially being an actor and playing different characters, different mindsets, different backgrounds, different families, or their struggles, or and also meeting people, seeing them on the set or in the play, or human beings in general, you realize that everybody is going through a certain kind of a turmoil. So don't think that you're special that way. That God has chosen you to punish you. No, no. Everybody, when you speak to them, talk to them, observe them, uh, everybody has got a facade, and there's another uh, personality or a person behind that facade. So, uh, having said that, I would say that I'm quite a cheerful person. I love to laugh, and I love to make people laugh. I like happy people around me. Everybody likes happy people around. Nobody wants morose people, but I genuinely like people around me, and I think so. That's why. And yes, it has helped me, this positivity. I think because I love my work, and that is what makes me happy every day. So that brings a lot of positivity in me. Be it theater, uh, be it my acting assignments on television or film, or on OTT platforms. Um, just being on the set with people, watching them, watching the process makes me very happy, very, very happy. I feel very blessed that I am one of those very, very few people, a certain percentage of people who are following their heart, and I'm able to earn my livelihood through it, through this.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And I think that passion really does come through not only in your responses that we've heard today, but also on your performances as well. Well, thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. बहुत 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 आनंद हुआ दिल में एक्चुअली आपसे बात करके और बहुत कुछ सीखा हमने बहुत कुछ जाना आपके क्राफ्ट के बारे में आपकी जो जर्नी है उनके बारे में एंड ऑफ कोर्स हीरा मंडी द डायमंड रिजर्व व्हिच इज स्ट्रीमिंग ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स फ्रॉम 1st of May. So thank you so much once again. बहुत धन्यवाद आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए बहुत मजा आया थैंक यू
Thank you, Anuj. I would just say that I'm going to sleep very well tonight. The wonderful things that you've told me about for myself.
no, no, of course it's
It
well
was
deserved as
very, very
well.
lovely few days, next few days. And yes, please watch Heera Mandi and show some love to Patto. She is a wonderful character. You'll find her there in your families everywhere. There's somebody, some Patto in every family.
True, definitely we will do. We will do.